Alright there guys, welcome back to another video. Back at it again at Wells Fargo. Nothing really new going on today. Fatty there, obviously. Had a really fucking busy day yesterday. And you're probably thinking, well, how fucking so? So square body, tan square body lowered. Two, most likely a two-wheel drive. You never lower a four-wheel drive. So I had a busy day yesterday, and like I said, you're probably wondering, well, how so? I obviously did about 10 miles on the bike yesterday with going to Main Street and then back home. You know, from home to Main Street and then back. And then from home down through Barrett's and then back. And then, you know, and that's with eat lunch in between there. And then me and Dad went to Menards to get some mulch for in front of the house, and then me and Dad went and did that, you know, mulch or wood chips, that shit. You know, so we did that, went to Menards, did that, and then we laid it all, so that took us about 2 hours, hour and a half at least. Yeah, because we got home at about 1:45, I think it was. No, about 2. And I think, yeah, it took us 2 hours. So we got home at, I think, just about 2, if not 2 o'clock. So we got home at 2. Did it work on that until 4. And then I went and finished up my ride, you know, to finish up the Hood Tour episode, which now that I'm in season 3, I think is the biggest now that I'm in season 3, I think that was the biggest episode I've done for season 3. I have to look. Because I'm already on episode 20 of season 3. Which I'm assuming I'm probably going to be on season 4, if not season 5, by the time I end the summer out, or end the riding season out, I should say. So then finish the riding day out, you know, finish the Hood Tour episode and all that too. And then me and Dad went to eat. We went out the Hilltop. And then Papa messaged me about, you know, when we're about ready to leave. Say, hey, eat yet? I was like, no, I just called him through Messenger. Said, hey, I haven't yet. What's up? Or I haven't yet. me and Dad are about ready to go eat. What's up? He's like, well, I need you to help me move some shit, out in the from out of the basement into the garage, from the basement out into the backyard, because he had his driveway and all that repoured and had a patio added on. And they had bought a Easy Up. So that they needed help with that. He needed help moving that up, and then the patio table too. So I helped him put the patio table or the Easy Up, and he was talking about trying to figure out how to mount that Easy Up to the patio without the wind. If we get wind, heavy enough wind during the day, or it's heavy enough that it won't wreck nothing, but heavy enough to move shit that's light enough. I said, well, why don't you do concrete anchors? He said, how does that work? I said, well, you drill a hole in concrete, accept the anchor, then you get some bolts that'll work with those anchors, drill it through the feet of the Easy Up, drill it so that it match up with the feet. Like, yeah. And then you get bolts that'll work with those anchors. You bolt the Easy Up, drill the holes, pound the anchors in. And then you bolt it, so then you run the bolts through the feet of the Easy Up, screw it into the anchor. Then you're done. You put it up and whatever, and it's like, yeah, that's a good idea, but now what about a big storm? Because I don't want it wrecked. I said, You do the bolts with your impact, and you put them in and take them out with your impact. And I said all you got to do is four anchors. One anchor per each foot. And then you use your impact to undo the bolts and then put them in, because you wanted to be able to take it out fast enough to to put it away because of of a storm. And I said, makes sense. That's why I said, do your impact. He's like, yeah, that's a good idea, because I said an impact will just, hobble to the next one, and then repeat it, and then just say, fuck the bolts. Or have Nana follow behind you, pick them up, and then give her the impact. Like, hey, just go throw it on the bench. And then be like, okay. And then start pins to drop everything and whatever, so, and then start pushing it all together. And then you just drag it into the fucking garage and then be done. So he's like, yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, that's a good idea. You know, granted, but you know, that's the best way I could think of to mount something. Oh, it's concrete anyway. You know, I was gonna say to do like a fucking concrete anchor, but then that's gonna start leaving shit, and you know, that's a little bit more of a permanent, you know, like more of a forever type deal. So, but anyway, guys, I'm gonna end the video here, and I'll see you guys in the next video.